I'm currently undertaking the world's worst jigsaw puzzle. Nothing has been labelled, nothing has been stored fantastically well, and I'm just trying to figure out what I've got engine-wise, what makes sense, what doesn't, and I think there's a complete engine here, but I'm not 100% sure. I know from the speedometer in the car that it says the car has done 75,000 miles, and I've already found one reason why this engine might have been taken apart. Now, don't worry, if I was going to build an engine, this is not how I would do it. This is just so I can figure out what I've got. One of the first things I did notice is the end of the dipstick tube was full of mud and was bent back towards the engine. And before I did anything, I noticed it had cracked at the bottom, and unfortunately that has snapped off. That was probably a fairly easy fix, to be fair. Things like the camshaft haven't had any protection put on them at all. I don't know whether this is salvageable, maybe it is. I have no idea at this point. All of these cam followers, I'm not very good with engines, so I'll probably get things wrong, but all of these are present, and there are the right number of push rods. Now this one's one of the good ones, and this seems to be one of the originals. However, I think maybe that might be why the engine was taken apart, because a couple of them look like this. The other issue is, for some reason, two of the push rods aren't even from this engine. I don't know what engine they are from, but they're not the right kind. So, while there are the relevant number of push rods, they're not in great shape. Do have the rocker assembly here, but I don't think it's complete. Again, not 100% sure because I've still got boxes to go through here. I've found the oil pump, the drive and the distributor. There's no cap and there's no mesh on the bottom of there, no sort of filter or anything that I'd expect. I've found one of the knurled knobs that go on the rock cover, but not the other. I think I've found the cap for it as well. That, I believe, is the fluid flywheel. There's no gearbox. This is the only bit of gearbox there is. That's the sump. This is the crankshaft with the pulley, and the keys are in it. The bearing faces have been covered in grease, so that might be okay. The head, of course, it doesn't look great. But again, it might clean up. The surface on it doesn't seem to be too heavily pitted. It just looks like a lot of surface, so that might clean up. For the pistons, this one's missing the gudgeon pin, but they otherwise seem to be complete. So far I've only found 3 of the big end bearings, and I think there should be 5. I'm not sure, or 4, something. Fuel pump, a water pump that's been fully disassembled, but the bearings, which look like they might have been new when they were put away, are now just, they look trashed. This is rebuildable though, and probably worth doing. Oil filter, air cleaner, 2 Zenith carburetors. Now I know they're worth a bob or two, so what I'll do is I'll find out which is the best of the 2 and keep that as a spare, and I shall sell the other. Exhaust inlet outlet manifold, that's another keeper. And of course the engine block. Now the cylinder bores as well, somebody has gone to the trouble of covering them with grease, so I do think there was an intention to rebuild this engine. And if I liked doing engines, I probably would do it. As it is, I'm just trying to find as much of the pieces as I can. The trouble is I have these boxes of hardware and bags of hardware I don't know what anything is. Nothing's labelled. It's all just a jumbled pile. And I've got to work through it all. Like, there's some bearing shells over here, and I'm not sure where they go. Oh, that was the other thing as well. That is the thermostat housing and an old-fashioned thermostat, and that is the reserve fuel tank mechanism. And I only know that because I've seen the one on our car. I'm going to keep going through these boxes, sort things by like types, and that should give me some idea of where things go. What's complicating it, there are some pieces that don't look like they're even from this car. The bonnet prop, for example, is definitely not from this car, and like I say, nothing is labelled, so I have no idea. Got some rusty stuff to go through there. Prop shaft might be from our car, but the donor car still has a prop shaft on it, so again, no idea. And there's some trim, odds and ends, a Clayton heater. That I probably will sell, because we have a heater that the car came with, and those, yeah, I should get a good amount back for that, even untested. Oh, and perhaps the most important find of all is this unassuming little bit of metalastic. This is a front engine mount. This has been one of the most difficult things to find on this car through the entire project, and this one looks like it's a new old stock item that's never been fitted, and it was just languishing inside the car. This solves one of our biggest problems. I'm very, very happy to have that. It was worth buying the car just for this one part, to be honest with you. Well, I've got a bit further, but I'm having to admit defeat a little bit. I had hoped it would be very obvious what was for what, and the more I go into these boxes of fixings, the less obvious it's becoming. There's some parts that look like they're from an 80s Pinto engine, Ford Pinto, as in the engine, not the car. And it's just muddled in with everything, and it's confusing matters. So I'm going to put away what I've already sorted. Pat and I will go through all these fixings, we'll figure out what's what, and come back to this later. It's going to be one of those jobs that it's going to take a while to do right, but there's possibly a whole engine here, and it's possibly rebuildable if somebody wanted to do that. That's probably not going to be us. So for now, I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up. I'm going to deal with these bits of trim and fabric here, and we shall call it quits for today. It's been quite a long day, and we'll come back to this later on. Okay, here we are. These are all the other loose bits and pieces from inside the car, and we're going to go through them and find out what we've got. And we've already bagged up a couple of items here, and this is a horn push and a spring, which is another item that we were really struggling to find. We now have one of those, so that's good. Oh, hang on, clean box. Pat has a system, so we're using Pat's system for this. There we go. And I think the first thing, and I've already shown that, I think the first thing we should do is look in these boxes and see what there is. There's no labels on anything, so we don't really know what anything is. Just keeping that. Okay, so we've got an interior light. Now, you remember from one of the other videos that the switch on ours is pretty poor. So this one's quite dirty, could do with a clean. Could definitely do with a clean. Tell you what though, that switch is better. So I think we will probably be making one good unit out of the ones that we've got. I'll put this aside because it's not cleaned yet. That's a keeper.
Is there a spot bulb for one of the front spots? Those little ones on the side.
This one's not for our car. This one is a glass lens from a side light, probably from a Land Rover or that sort of thing. Ours uses a different type of lens to this. Lucas 4891. Now that's a bit special. These are Lucas 464 lenses, which is what our car has, but our car has red ones. And yeah, that's a pretty good condition, complete one. And it's a clear lens. These are a good bit more desirable. So there's going to be some pennies in those. Judging by the price we paid, these go for usually between £40 and £60 each. And they've got the chrome bezel, so that's quite handy. The other one, unfortunately, is broken. But when you put the trim on, there's enough of it still there to hold it in place, so it might be useful to somebody. And oh, these also. Ooh. So there's a pair of these. These are Lucas 464E. They go in the same holders as on our car, but they're the wrong kind. These have 2 light spots on the back. These are about £80 a pair, usually, because these go on some of the higher end cars. So that's some cash back in our pocket. What's in this box? A rear number plate housing shroud. These are fairly common, they're not worth a great deal, but it is in good shape. That's interior door handle. That's a interior release handle. This is probably the hardware that's missing from the doors on the driver's side of the car. And that's one of the escutcheons, which is kind of annoying because we did actually have to buy one of those, and we have one now. A Trico washer jet thingy. I think that's like a little push button pump thing.
Glove box.
Yep, that's the glove box lock. I did find the glove box lid out of our car, out of our donor car rather, but it does have some woodworm in it, unfortunately. But this might be handy for somebody. Another interior door handle. And oh, that's for the horn push. That's the chrome escutcheon for the horn push that holds it into the steering wheel.
I'll put that with the other one. Whoa.
It's alright, like a baby, it bounces.
Thank you.
Oh, another pull handle for one of the interior doors.
Everything's covered in slime.
It's grease to keep it from going rusty, which is
okay.
ironic because this is all die cast. Window winder handle. And another escutcheon. This one's complete. This one has the little spring inside as well, so that's good. Oh, and we have 2 of those. So if we ever need a spare one, we've got them.
Ugh, this is disgusting.
I think that's it in there. That's just some scraps of plywood. Now it's just a case of going through all of this rusty nonsense. Oh look, a wiper arm. Another one.
How many wiper arms is that?
I don't know, I've lost count. Look, there's another one here.
Oh, there's another one. 2 wiper arms.
This is probably the door handle that's not on the front passenger door. And it looks to be all there, but a little bit seized. So we'll see if I can unstick that. That's an old reflector, 2 old reflectors. They might clean up, we'll see. They might not be worth doing. We'll have a go with them.
Is that a plastic light?
Yeah, that's a... Not sure what this is from. It's from a classic car of some sort, not the Lanchester. But that is a interior light for something. Probably something British. It's a bit seized up. The lens and stuff, there might be some salvageable parts there, I don't know.
Oh, that's a washer squirter.
Yeah, little chrome washer jet, might clean up. A lot of this stuff with the very bright orange, this was in the boot, so it's fairly fresh rust, it's not actually very well developed. So a lot of this stuff will probably salvage.
Got some razor blades.
Yay! Oh, there's still some razor blades in there. They might be alright for cleaning things, they're just some ordinary old-fashioned razor blades.
Very corroded looking wiper jet thingy.
That's the heater thing, do you remember that one I restored?
Ah, yeah.
So, this thing here, which doesn't look like much at all, is a heater controller for inside the car. So you've got your two terminals on the back, and you can actually get into these. So I'll see if I can rescue that one. I might be able to. It might be too far gone.
All this rust is from the biscuit tin.
Yeah, this is that that biscuit tin Pat picked up and the bottom fell out. That's what a lot of this is from. That's still squidgy rubber. I don't know what it's for. It's a big gasket. So
Some more
keep
rubbers
that.
there. A bunch of assorted rubbers.
Yeah. If they're squidgy, we'll keep them. Oh, that one's split. We can get rid of that one.
In the bin.
Those are fibre washers for something. I don't know what they're. Oh, I know what they're for. They go between the body and the chassis.
I'll keep one of them because the other one's a bit.
Yeah, if there's a, yeah, they're mostly just knackered. There's some more here. Well, we'll keep the reasonable ones until we know exactly what these are. But I'm pretty sure these are between the body and the chassis to stop things rusting together.
They're all the same size, so
yeah.
Except the ones that are disintegrating.
That is a chrome bezel from something. Probably a side light or... Is it from this one? Oh, it's a bit big for that one, so it may be from a reflector. What's that one from? Oh, I know what that one's from. That is from... this.
No, God, that's some better days.
Where does that go? So... yeah, there we go. That's a side light with the bezel. It's missing the lens. I'm pretty sure it's not that lens.
I found the rubber.
Oh, do you know what?
It is that lens, I was
It
right.
is that lens. I know why I thought it wasn't this lens. I was thinking of the A35 side lights, which are actually smaller. So that is a complete unit, less the rubber gasket for the lens, and we've even got the gasket for the wing. So that'll be the one that's missing on the passenger wing. It might clean up, we'll see if we can salvage it. That's a switch panel. And again, this is probably useful for the components more than the actual switches in there. But that would go underneath the dashboard, and then you'd have your switches in here. That might actually be useful for us. Fuel lines? Yeah, I think that one goes on the carburettor.
Yeah, fuel line. Bit of fuel line, in case you need it.
Are we going to need that?
Nope.
Put it in the bin.
Earth point, something? Looks like it's that light.
No, they have a different thing for the
Looks
earth.
like a positive earth though, because it's got the one hook that goes on the item in the car there, and then that goes on the item.
Just a little braided earth strap. It's in reasonable shape. We'll put it in the useful bits bin. A return spring for something. I'm not sure what that's for. It's not broken. They do sometimes just do that. I think we should keep that just in case, because I don't know what it's for.
That is a seat spring.
Is it?
Yeah. Look.
Oh yeah, it's got some twine.
It's got some hemp on the top.
We do have a bunch of other seat springs, don't bin it?
Do you use them?
They break sometimes, so you do need them. Do you remember I've done...
Okay.
I did the
That's
seats.
a good one, so.
Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable shape one. So if ever we have a spring break, we've got some spring break. Wiper arms. Actually, no, we should keep those out until we find out how many we've actually got. That is a mirror stem. We do have a broken one on the car. This might be the right one. I'm not sure what this linkage is for. It's probably gear linkage or brake linkage or throttle linkage, something like that.
Crap.
Oh, I know what that one is.
What's that?
That is that lives under the chassis, under the passenger floor on the chassis. It's the reserve tank switch.
Oh.
So you pull the thing on the car and it opens up a valve in here which allows you access to the reserve fuel tank, which is missing on our car and on the donor car. Apparently it's very common for these to disappear. It's a nice piece of brass. So it's... keep it, because it's something that's, you know...
It's a part of the car.
You never know.
It was, until ours got removed.
Semaphore lens.
That'll clean up. Is it snapped at the bottom there? Or is that normal?
I think that's normal.
Okay.
This was a semaphore, and it looks like it's been living under the sea. This is beyond salvaging. It's just, there's bits on it that are broken, and it's, yeah, you have to draw a line somewhere.
All the corrosion is from that bleeding biscuit tin.
Yeah. So that one's a bin. But we'll keep the lens, because the lenses are always handy to have.
3 screws.
3 little chrome screws. I'll put those aside over there because someone can clean those.
Yeah. What's that?
That's a modern rubber door buffer.
No.
That's no use to us, so I can go bin.
It's got a jack handle.
Yeah. It's not off the Lanchester.
Or a motorbike?
Or lawnmower?
Tractor.
Tractor maybe?
That's a tractor handle, I bet you.
It's knackered.
Okay. Well, we don't have a tractor. Or traction.
Well, that's a fuel filler cap. It's in better condition than ours, but it's all seized up at the moment. So
Ew. I think it's been something living in there.
we'll give it a soak in some penetrating stuff and give it a clean. See if it comes back round. Little box. That one is a linkage for the carburettor, because I remember these little wings on here that allow you to release the ball joints. So I know what that one is.
Yes.
That's a ruined earth strap. That one can go in the bin. That might be off the engine. That's a very badly damaged nut. Looks like somebody's had to take a chisel to it to get it off. But it's a good point of reference, so we'll set that aside for the engine, just in case. I don't know what that is. It looks a bit engine-y.
Exhausting?
Bit small for exhaust.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? No idea.
I'll set it aside over here until we know. That's a bit of wire.
Bin.
That's some sort of shouldered nut with a thread inside it. That might be an engine thing. I don't know.
A bit of brass.
An oil-like bushing.
Does, doesn't it?
With a bit of engine maybe.
Big old washer.
Yeah, that looks engine-y.
Is that your rocker cover? Or a petrol cap?
You know, I said that things were from a Ford.
Oh well, there's
a Ford stamp on it. There are bits of Ford Pinto engine in here, I swear.
Oh yeah. I bet you was going to use that for the...
I don't know. We'll see if it fits, but it's not the right one. Bearing shells that aren't from this car. Don't know what they're from. And another washer.
Busted.
No, it's a split washer.
Oh.
It's supposed to look like that. A modern galvanised bracket.
Pour something. Bin.
Well, scrap pile on that one, I think. The end of a push rod. I don't know where the rest of it's gone, but it should be a bit longer than that. Another seat spring. I'll clean that tub up. That'd be handy. There's all kinds of matchy things in here.
Ooh, bit Bakelite.
Yeah.
Park Star.
Okay. Oh, look, a leaf. Right, I think that might be a drain tap, either for the block or the radiator, from memory. I don't know what those are. They look a bit modern. That might be one of the tops for the rock cover.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a broken spring, so that can go in the bin. That's some sort of bushing. Don't know what it's for, maybe engine. A rotor arm from something. Oh, that's a hose clamp. I don't like those.
Bin?
Yeah. That's also not from the Lanchester. I don't know what that is.
Bin? Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think we'd use that.
Here's an outtake for you.
Big old washer and a rubber grommet and another really big grommet there.
Wrong grommet.
It's probably engine. That's a locking washer for something. Don't know what.
That's
a modern plastic
that's
trim.
a tag that they use in Fords.
Yeah, it's for
Because
door cards and
yeah,
stuff.
but I used to have them in my door card in my Ford. So,
But that's just a little bolt. That, I know what that is. That's what holds down the cover for the battery.
yeah. Get that, keep that. I want one then. Get an extra one.
That is a broken capillary tube. That's the temperature sender end for the temperature gauge.
I found a broken piece of capillary tube yesterday.
I don't think they can be repaired, unfortunately.
No, that's a.
And that looks like a Ford valve spring. I think that is a Ford valve spring. I don't think that's out of this engine.
No. Bin?
Yep.
It bounced.
One of the engine mount washers. Engine mount, body mount washers. In fact, that's over there for cleaning, I think. I'll put that there. And a couple of Bakelite knobs. These are wiper knobs to actually get the wipers going. This one is a Lanchester one. I don't know what that one's from. Something of a similar age. Maybe an older Lanchester. Next box. That's just a strip of rubber. That can go in the bin. Right. A modern press steel bracket of some sort. Don't know what that is. I don't think we need that.
That's a bin job.
Some sort of grill emblem. Don't know what. We'll try and find out. In the box.
It used to have screws in it, but lots of things.
Lots of seat springs. Lots and lots of seat springs actually. Keep those. Oh yeah, that's 70s mirror again, but it's got a reasonable arm on it, and you can get mirrors for them, so I'll put that in the spare stash for now. No idea.
Dog chain.
You think? It's like a stay chain for something, like a gate or something like that. I don't think it's something we'll use, is it? Any ideas on this one? It's got a little switch there with the wiring. It's a rear view mirror for something.
It's got a light in it.
Yeah. But I don't know what. I don't know whether it goes that way or that way. I have no idea. That's a slightly better bezel for that side light, so that's handy. I don't know. Some cast iron lump of some sort. I'm not really sure on that one. Any ideas? It's a mystery to me, that. Engine maybe? It's a bit like
Bit tractory again.
Yeah, looks like there's rubber in there and there should be something pivoting on that. Engine wise, that's junk. These are, I know they don't look like much, but these are some more fixings they might clean up, so we'll salvage those for now.
Are they upholstery ones?
Yeah, they're like the floor panels and stuff. Oh look, another wiper blade. Oh, that clip that we found, look, that's what that's for. So
Bang it on, sling it on.
Well, I assume.
Bit too much of a perfect fit for it not to be.
A couple of side light bulb holders, it's always a handy thing to have. That goes with that side light that we've already got. That's a boot hinge, exterior boot hinge, that's another one. That's the other half of it. And that's a broken other half of it, so that one can probably be thrown away. Because you can't really fix them, because for how they're made.
Yeah, but there's something in these, look.
Yeah, it's the, you know the pin we drove out with them on
Yeah.
ours. Somebody's cut through them because they can't get the pin out.
And they've made a new pin for that.
Yeah.
You can drill the pin out, it's only brass.
Yeah. Little bulb holder. And that one is a headlight retaining ring clip. The box there.
Would be another dead rat.
Oh, I got excited, I thought that was a socket. It's not, it's some sort of engine thing.
They're heavy.
Yeah, well you know what those are.
There's brass.
Yeah.
And there's the boot thing. Oh look, it's even got relevant hinges.
Ah.
Does anybody want any brass Lanchester hinges that look really tacky?
I think you're supposed to chrome them. A whole bunch of old Champion spark plugs.
Oh, these boxes are just like...
Yeah, they're just
They're
grotty.
just soaked dirt and grease. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got an idea. I've got an idea.
Champion plugs.
I know what they are.
But I don't know if there's any value in these at all.
Oh, there's a dead spider in this one.
Oh, lovely.
Do you want me to chuck them? Because other of them probably won't work.
I don't think they're collectible. But if you look at the design of them, they look like quite old ones.
They are
So
super old. And look at
they
the oil on that one.
New. Yeah, they're all a bit rot. I don't think we'll need them.
No.
There's a lot of nuts and bolts in here.
Past the brass?
Oh, those should probably go back in that box they were in.
Yeah, but the box is so grog.
Oh, if the box is knackered then.
So we might as well clean them and bag them.
Yeah.
That's the point about this, is like...
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you're going to clean them, put them back in that box.
Oh, I didn't know the box was knackered.
Are these chuckers?
Yeah. Yeah, there. Did.
I'm doing my job well. I'm doing my part.
Yeah, I think that's as exciting as this gets, really. Everything in here is just old nuts and bolts and some dirt. So there's some treasures in here, and I can probably get a bit further with putting the engine jigsaw puzzle together. But we have a lot of cleaning ahead of us now, I think. Bit more carnage. Been pulling the wood out, bagging it up, and got this door open. The rusty looking handle, which actually isn't rusty, it's just had a rust water on it, actually got it open with a bit of effort. The lock, I don't have a key that fits it, but I can get one in the future. Inside, it's looking a lot better than it was. I've been sweeping rat poo out of that corner, and this floorboard here isn't as rotten as the rest, so it's putting up a bit of a fight. But the rest is out. And there's been some good finds in here when it comes to putting ours together. Namely, all of the original wiring loom is still intact under the dashboard, and it's all where it should be. So I now have a good reference for where all that's supposed to run. That's super. I think we're missing these pipes as well, so it's nice to have those and see where those should go. Another item that I didn't know we were missing is this piece of trim here that goes under the carpet, and this is, I assume, a weather seal against the door. It's quite a fat piping that's got like a rubber tube inside it, and it's covered in Rexine, and it's screwed down to the floor. And on our car I did notice we had some little screw holes and some random chrome screws like this, and I didn't know where they went. So this car has answered that for us, which is great, because I've got to make all new carpets for ours and I was guessing a bit. So I can't salvage this material, it's too far gone, but I will salvage as many of these little screws as I can, because they're very specific. And at the moment I'm taking lots of video and photograph footage so that I've got good archive evidence for where things go, which will help us rebuild ours and hopefully help other people rebuild theirs if they're using these videos for that. I'm going to have a little bit of an experiment here. This bracket is for the washer bottle, the Tudor one, and we've decided we're going to use this. I know that the oxalic acid will work on this and won't cause us any problems. What I don't know is whether or not it's safe to use with parts that are chrome plated, like this hubcap. I'm going to use this hubcap because it is pretty bad. You know, it's split right through there. It's not in great shape. But it's an ideal candidate to test whether or not the acid will eat through the chrome plating as well as the rust. I'm going to dunk these in this bucket, and then we're going to leave it like we did before for 24 to 48 hours and see what we end up with. It's been about 24 hours. I left this outdoors overnight and it rained, because of course it did. So let's see what we've got. Oh, it's gone very green. Now, with oxalic acid, when it reacts with steel, it does go green. And looking at that, it looks like it shifted a fair bit. So I'm going to take this over to the hose pipe and we'll rinse this off and see what we've got. Oh yeah. You can see there's a lot more blue paint on that that's visible now than there was. But you need to rinse it off to neutralise the acid. Now I can clean and prepare that as normal, and that'll be ready for painting. Oh wow, that's a surprise. Considering that was just solid brown when it went in, that's really good. Doesn't seem to have lifted any of the plating that's left on there. So that seems like that's a pretty good solution for, literally, for lifting the rust off chrome parts so that they can then be protected. So if you want to keep the patina, this seems like a good solution. What I might do is just put these in for another 24 hours now that I've rinsed them off, because it will shift what's left on here. And it's easy, low maintenance stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that because this was pretty bad.